Okay, you're right. Welcome to your video tutorial today on multiplying and dividing terms. Okay, we're going to look at algebraic expressions, but today we're going to have a look at how to multiply and divide them. When we have a term with a coefficient, okay, an example of a term or a pronumeral could be 5a could be a term, and we have a coefficient and then nothing between the pronumeral, that means that we're saying a multiplied by 5, or there's 5 instances of a. For example, we don't write, as you know, 12 times a times b times c. We write 12 ABC. When we're multiplying, the order isn't really important. For example, 2 multiplied by a multiplied by 4 multiplied by b could be written this way as well. It doesn't really matter the order in which you multiply. When x is multiplied by x, it gets us x squared, as we've learned in the last few lessons. When x is multiplied by x is multiplied by x, it gives us x to the power of 3.
Unlike multiplying, when we divide, our division is written as a fraction. So if we have an expression that says 12ab divided by 9ad, we don't write it like this guy here with this division sign as you used to have seen in primary school. We have to write it with a fraction line. Now you might notice that this coefficient 12, there's nothing between the a and nothing between the b. There's no sign that's been actually given. There's nothing between the 9 and the a and the d. As we've learnt from the previous slide, that means they're being multiplied. So that's actually 1, 2, 3 individual things that all have multiplications between them. Okay, and when I expand them out, they look a little bit like something down here, this guy. Now with multiplication, it's quite easy to just multiply all the terms by each other. It's not hard. With division, when I look to simplify, okay, the only way I can work out 12ab divided by 9ad is by looking for common factors. So if you draw your eye over to the pronumerals, you'll notice that there was an a on top and an a on the bottom as well. Now I've just separated these so you can see the multiplication symbols in between. That's fine. Okay, I'll get rid of them when I write my answer. But as soon as there's a pronumeral on the bottom that's on the top as well, a like term, I can cancel them out. Okay, now b and d are not like terms, so I can't cancel them out. I'm going to leave them the way they are. Now I can write 12 over 9. That's fine. But there's a way to simplify 12 over 9. Okay, there's a more simple way to write it. Okay, and I look for a common number that goes into 9 and into 12. Not that they go into, but goes into them. Okay, so I'm not looking for a number that 12 goes into, like 24, or that 9 goes into, like 18. I'm looking for a number that goes into both of them. One goes into both of them, but that's too small. That doesn't help me. 2 doesn't go into 9. 3 goes into 9, so I can start there. Okay, 3 goes into 9 3 times, like I've written, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. Now I can't simplify 4 over 3 at that point. That's the most simple version I can get. So my answer becomes 4 times b over 3 times d. When I give my answer, I don't write the multiplication sign in. It's just 4b over 3d. Okay, what kind of questions could you be asked to prove that you understand how to do this? Well, the most common question you can be asked is you can get multiple terms and asked to simplify them. Now we've got multiplication here. We're not adding or subtracting like we have in the past, okay? And this means that another way of writing this statement here, this a, I'm going to show my working up here, guys, is 7 times a times 2 times b times c times 3 times d. Holy guacamole, that looks long. Most of you will probably get why I'm making you write your x's differently, because you'll notice that now where we're using multiplication, you can get easily confused. The first thing I do is I highlight my terms that are the same. Now I've got a 7 as a constant, a 2 as a constant, and a 3 as a constant. Okay, I'll highlight those terms and I'm going to rewrite them. So I'm going to write this in a different order. 7 times 2 times 3. Okay, and then I've got an A, a B, a C, and a D. I don't have any terms that are the same. Pronumerals that are same, sorry. Times A, times B, times C, times D. I'll try and write that all in one row. Sorry, I just ran out of screen space. Okay, now a way to simplify this one here is I know I can do 7 times 2 times 3. Okay, I can combine these ones. Instead of writing 7 times 2 times 3, I can write that in a more simple way. So I can work out what 7 times 2 times 3 is. I know 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm left with 14 times 3. I don't know my 14 times tables, but I can look at it carefully and break it down or partition it. 4 times that one is a 10 in 14. So 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 4 is 12. 30 plus 12 is 42. So 14 times 3, a quick way to work out 14 times 3 is 42. Then I'm left with 42 times A times B times C times D. Now, I know that I can't combine any more of those pronumerals, and I know that I don't actually write times, so I'll just get rid of those multiplication signs, and my answer becomes 42. Let's write this a bit better now. A, B, C, D. Okay, that's a simple way of working that one out. Oh, let me just get... Okay, the next example is a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to show you the next example underneath. Okay, it's 3 times x, sorry. See now how we have to write these differently. Times y times 5 times x times z. Okay, let's underline our key terms. We have a 3 and a 5. We have an x and an x. And then we have a y and a z. Okay, so first off I'll rearrange it. So it will become 3 times 5 times x times y times z. Okay, and I'll work left to right. 3 times 5, sorry, I'm going down here on the blue. 3 times 5 is 15. I learnt from the previous slide that x times x is not 2x, but rather I write it like this, x squared. And then I have a y and a z. Okay, now I don't write times y times z. I know I write it simply as 15x squared yz. And that's the answer for the second question. Okay guys, they're the two multiplication examples. I showed you how to do a division example in the previous slide as well. So that should be enough information, my darlings, for you to simplify multiplication and division expressions.